What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants. No hate. So, check this out. I was reading an article, and then it was just crazy. But it's typical. I was reading this article, right? And it was about Jake Paul. And after reading the article, I started watching some videos of Shannon Briggs. And I said, when I watched him, I said, nah, Jake Paul wouldn't fight Shannon still right now. Nah, Shannon still have too much left. He wouldn't fight. He wouldn't fight Shannon Briggs. So I'm reading this article, and the article is talking about a possible showdown between Jake Paul and the legendary, one and only Roy Jones Jr. And I started laughing, right? And while I was reading that article, my cousin texted me, and we kind of just going back and forth. And I said, "Hey man, just give me a call. Too much texting and shit." And in that conversation, let me share with you what we talked about. What I said to him, this is what's happening. Jake Paul is doing what he's been doing. Okay, he talks a lot of shit. He does a lot of dumb, underage, adolescent type shit. And then he turns around and he he finds a name that has respect on it, even if it's not an actual boxer. And he goes in there and he fights that person. If you want to see Jake Paul lose and you tune in, well, you're still tuning in. If you are invested in watching this legend pull it off, you're still tuning in. And then he'll make a killing, big money. Now, tell me, how does beating Mike Tyson, Anderson Silva, or anybody he's beaten so far, how does that put him in title contention? Nobody he's beat is in title contention, okay? So he's done nothing. Now, people will look at Francis Ngannou and say, "But what about that? That was some BS too." But hey, this is where I'm saying you got to understand. In terms of big money, hey, Turkey Al Sheikh even has something to do with it. You understand what I mean? So this is what he's doing. Now, look at Roy Jones. Roy Jones on several videos have made it known he has bad knees. Roy Jones doesn't even jog. He slides his feet. You ever see Roy Jones? You see him try to jog nowadays? He literally just slides on the balls of his feet. He can't even run. Okay? Which means his mobility and everything will be compromised. And in fact, Roy would probably get knocked out because Roy can't move, and that was a huge part of his arsenal. And to be honest with you, because greed is so powerful and people will do whatever it takes to get ahead, it's expected, right? But how do you feel good about yourself? Just saying, I just beat up fighters that's past their prime. And then pat myself on the back by saying things like, "Hey man, I'm kind of new to this. I haven't been doing this as long as them, and I've beaten legends." Okay. This is what he's doing. So when I'm listening to, him talk and I hear other people talk, you see, because of what he's contributed to boxing, it has nothing to do with his in-ring ability. And this is why I say when people are talking about, yeah, but like, look at what he did. See, let's rub elbows with people that can help us type of mentality. Listen, I said it before and I'm saying it again. Jake Paul sucks as a boxer. And the fact of the matter is with him, like when, Clarissa addressed him and she's saying what she's saying, is she doing anything different from what he's doing to anybody else by mentioning somebody else's name? And I really believe that she'd fight him. I really believe she thinks she can beat him. And if he can beat her, it's only because he's a man. It's not because he's a good fighter. The dude suck. But he'd be a real coward to even take her up on that offer. Because this will be the first time he can say he fought a boxer in their prime. and it happens to be a fucking female. That would be the first and only time he could say that. Okay, and pretty much when I watched this dude and I watched the guys he fought, and I watched people within boxing try to pump him up and build him up to be something special. That dude suck, man. He's and here's the thing. Look at how much money he's made in a boxing ring. And look at real deal fighters that can't even get half of what he's making. Not even close to what he's making. It really shows you how watered down this sport has become. And it shows you that people, they'll say and do things that shows their actual hatred. Listen, I saw this video. A lot of you probably saw it. Okay, they keep putting the article up on my Google, but I saw the video, the actual interview. Now, Roy Jones has said, and I want to make this clear. Roy Jones has said he can't respect Floyd being 50-0 because 50-0 was against somebody that wasn't a boxer. Roy Jones have made excuses for Jake Paul. Roy Jones considered Anderson Silva an actual boxer. Man, Anderson Silva, that dude has, he's under decent. He's under decent. You can see he learned some bare essentials, but he has no wittiness or craftiness about it. It's like he had that safe zone type of style. Like, let me just do the basics. Jab, jab right hand, step. Jab, jab right hand, walk around. Jab, jab to the body. Back up, walk around. Walk around. He does basic little stuff. Okay? And pretty much he tried to make that a legitimate opponent. Okay. So he has about as many fights in the ring. He has about as much boxing experience as Connor McGregor. The difference with Anderson Silva and Connor McGregor is Anderson Silva actually respects boxing. Like, he has a healthy respect for boxing. And he himself, he prided himself in trying to be the best boxer he can. Even, for what he does. Like, in MMA, they strike. But as far as him boxing, he has a respect for it. But who the fuck has Anderson Silva ever beat up in a boxing ring? Okay? Roy Jones says Nate Diaz can actually box. Have you ever seen Nate Diaz fucking fight? The dude punch while bringing his hands from his fucking waist, and he punches, he does this shit. Okay? You clarified Nate Diaz as a real boxer. You clarified Anderson the Spider Silva as a real boxer, but you say Conor McGregor's not. They're no more of a boxer than Conor McGregor is. The other thing is, way before Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, Roy Jones was trying to fight Anderson Silva. Guess what? Roy Jones is the man that said, I don't do exhibitions. If I'm going to do exhibitions, what is it for? Don't mean that, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't nothing but an indirect shot at Floyd, which also means your fight with Anderson Silva would have been on your record and on his boxing record, right? He's not a boxer either. Like I said, he's no more of a boxer than Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. Both of them are better at striking than Nate Diaz is, though. But at the same time, do you see where I'm coming from, y'all? Roy was that dude when I was growing up. Back in the day, Roy was that dude. Then Floyd became that dude, and they all had their time. And that's like, people like Max Kellerman can fool y'all, say things like, Roy was so good that when Roy was fighting, no one was even talking about Floyd Mayweather. Do you guys realize that, Floyd is 56? No, Floyd is 47. Roy is 56. So, yeah, Roy came out way before Floyd. He was known way before Floyd. You understand? He got his popularity way before Floyd. That's what they don't tell you. So he's trying to just basically make it look like, as good as you may think Floyd is, Roy was just so much better, nobody paid attention to Floyd. No. Your career lasts as long as it does. Let's look at how both of their careers played out. See how there's no material there, right? That's why they don't want to fucking keep talking about it. Because if you sit here and play it out, you got to sit here and then all of a sudden, loss after loss after loss. Well, guess what? His first loss came at 36. Floyd retired at 38. Outside of Antonio Tarver fighting Roy Jones, who the fuck ever talks about Antonio Tarver? They don't even talk about him playing in a Rocky movie. So if they're talking about Antonio Tarver, you're talking about him beating Roy. And it's rare that anybody talks about Antonio Tarver. So him losing to Antonio Tarver, then Antonio Tarver lost his belt on his very first defense against Glenn Johnson. Got it back, and then basically did much of nothing. So if you take Roy Jones out the picture, nobody ever, he's like the invisible man. Nobody talks about Antonio Tarver. You see, so my thing is with Roy saying all of this, people don't see the jealousy. He can talk all the shit he wants, right? Jealous what? You jealous. Because Floyd did what you thought you were going to do. And that was retire undefeated and have all those accolades that Floyd has. And that's why when people talk about, what Roy did, I'm like, if you compare their careers, if you want to sit and talk about accomplishments, Floyd by far passed Roy. By far. And the point, what I'm saying, I don't give a fuck about who you thought would have won. They're not even in the same weight class. The point is, Roy tried to do everything that Floyd did, whether it was fighting for fighting an MMA guy, whether it was going up in weight and fighting someone else and whatever, he did all of that, but he never lost. And if you compare their opponents, I guarantee you, if you're honest, you'll go, damn, I gotta be honest, man. Floyd fought far better quality opponents than Roy did. So it amazes me how when Roy say these things, I'm like, Roy, do you realize you was trying to fight Anderson Silva? And you want to know also what one of the biggest differences would have been between with Roy versus Anderson Silva versus Floyd versus Connor? Floyd versus Connor McGregor was a huge spectacle. Roy Jones versus Anderson Silva would have just been another event. It probably would have been a part of that island fights or whatever. Probably would have had some professional one professional wrestling match or something, or one MMA match or something to that effect. How they do it, but it wouldn't have been cheap quality production. Microphones sound like crap. Visuals looking like and it wouldn't have had. He wouldn't have had the star-studded crowd. All that other shit that don't even mean nothing to me. But it wouldn't have been the same thing. And you want to know what? Let's not even talk about Floyd's $300 million in that night. Roy Jones and Anderson Silva's salary combined wouldn't even came close to $100,000, which is what Connor got. So every time he says this, and it's funny because if you notice something, Roy Jones would do a whole interview, and he's okay. No, because I gotta go there. Beat him. I'm the champion. I gotta go to his country. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to fight the best. I just want to be the best. Somebody say they're the best. They gotta come get me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming. I'm coming. You say you better than me, right? As soon as they bring up Floyd and that 50, well, how I gonna respect that? Voice get all high pitch. He beat that. He wasn't even a fighter. Connor McGregor ain't no fighter. He no boxer. He's a striker. He's MMA, but he ain't no boxer. Hey, voice start getting high pitched. Like, it really eats him up, and you see it. See, but this is the thing. It's just like when Roy Jones fought John Ruiz. I remember before the fight even happened, the commentators were like, "Oh, I seen these guys backstage, and it's like, oh, this guy's way too small. I think John Ruiz is going to dominate him. This and this and this and this and that." Roy Jones defeated the odds in that fight. See, this is the thing about perception, and this is why I say we don't have to imagine when we actually have the results already. If Roy Jones had have retired after that John Ruiz fight, that one fight would have been enough to make people say, yo, imagine if Roy would have fought this guy. Yo, Roy could do it all. Look at his size. Look how small he was to Ruiz, man. See, And this is going to come after the criticism of John Ruiz not being all that as a heavyweight. You see what I'm saying? But down the line, they start to try to let's forget about all the negative stuff that we said about Roy to build him up because we want to say he's better than Floyd, or we want to, all of these types of things. But it's like, yo, look at what he did. And people will rationalize shit, and their imaginations will tell them, yo, he would have did this, he'd have did that if he'd have fought this guy. Because, yo, think about it. Nobody believed that this guy was going to win, and he dominated, right? This is what people do. If Hopkins never fought Felix Trinidad, Hopkins wouldn't have had a chance to beat Trinidad, according to the, this is what people say, right? So Roy Jones, his first loss was against Montel Griffin when he hit him when he was down. Terry Norris used to get suspended for that. He lost 3 fights in a row like that for hitting the guy after the bell, type of thing. So it was a bullshit loss, but bottom line, he lost. Okay, and that was the only really blemish on his record, which was some bullshit, and he got past it, I guess, whatever. The fact that he knows everybody else know what actually happened, I think it made him feel better about it. But as time went on, and Floyd just kept fighting, and then he's undefeated, that blemish probably made Roy feel like, damn, man, I gotta have a fucking blemish, just that one blemish, right? And you know what? He'll say things like, I give Floyd credit for being the smartest, but I can't say he pound for pound the best. Take the Connor McGregor fucking fight away. I don't care if that last fight would have been against Sean Porter. I don't care who it was against. He still would have not said Floyd is better than him. And nobody expects him to say that. My thing is, why is he so adamant about always trying to make Floyd look like he's not what he is? But then at the same time, Roy Jones and all these other guys who picked Mike Tyson to destroy, not just win, but to destroy Jake Paul, all of them were wrong. Every single one of them. And wasn't it Aries telling y'all, I don't like what I see in Mike Tyson, man. Like, Mike Tyson has no mobility. He can barely walk, man. And I told y'all, I read an article where he said it was even hard to walk, but he'll be ready come fight time. And then this man had 8 blood transfusions. Okay? Now, I didn't know about the blood transfusions until after the fight. But when he said, it's hard to walk right now, but I'll be ready come fight night. And I'm like, yo, I saw Mike with tubes up his nose. I'm like, what? Now, it's like, oh, shit, okay. So I know something else is going on. And when they started showing the training leading up, I'm like, man, Mike look like he's about 75, 80 years old, man. The way his body movements and everything, I'm like, nah, man, Mike is done. And the reality is this, right? Sometimes you don't know if a person is acting and putting on for the cameras. And this is why I said that fight may have never really been intended to happen. Maybe it was. It doesn't matter. It's all irrelevant now. But I feel like regardless, Jake was going to use whatever angle he could to capitalize, to look like he's the upper hand and, he's the guy. And honestly, man, even though Mike was the draw, everybody wanted to see Mike win and make history and all of that. This is where, when you detach yourself from reality, you can be bamboozled. And my thing is, like I always say, you never know what can happen in the ring. But if you were looking at what Mike Tyson can do, and you still was talking about Mike is this, they talking about Mike still got it. Yeah, I know. He always looked the same, doing the same drills he's been doing all his damn life, the same fucking way he hit the bag. That's all y'all see Mike do. And every time y'all see him do it, all somebody got to do is put some words on the thumbnail. Mike Tyson showing incredible power and speed. Even at 56, Mike still got it. Right. Is he going to go in the ring and fight a punching bag or a person? So, at the end of the day, man, they all picked him to destroy. Not just, like I said, he's going to destroy Jake Paul. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, I understand. Now, if your opinion is just you think he's going to win versus I hope he do because I just want somebody to knock Jake out. Okay, wishful thinking, I hear you. But at the same time, my point was when I was saying that Mike was done, people, oh man, everybody hating on Mike. Mike, all these haters. So am I still a hater? Or was I absolutely 1,000% correct? Just saying, y'all. Y'all know I don't go along with what everybody else is saying. I say what I feel. If I'm wrong about something, I'm wrong about it. But I'm not piggybacking off of what you say. But y'all know, you look at my track record, I be hitting shit on the head. Y'all gotta understand. This dude talking about he want to test Jake Paul chin. When the last time you seen Roy Jones throw a meaningful punch? When's the last time you saw him fight and felt like, yo, Roy trying to take this dude's head off? Roy doesn't do that. Last fight he had, you know what Roy Jones said? He said, I'm not fighting my opponent, I'm fighting the IRS. Yeah, you continue to play dumb and act like you don't know what Floyd was doing, and he put himself in that position for $300 million. You make it seem like, and here's how you make Roy put his foot in his mouth. If you said, Roy Jones, are you telling me if this was your last fight and $300 million was on the table, you wouldn't have fought Connor? And the first thing he's gonna do is put his foot in his mouth and say, I ain't say I want you to fight. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't expect people to think like, I wouldn't be going around saying like, I wouldn't expect people to take that fight serious. It's for the money and for the spectacle and all, to get fame, something to what. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna expect people to think like this is like, I can't really take full credit for it, because you know what I'm saying? He's not a real fighter. I don't expect people to respect that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying is, I respect Floyd, but I don't respect that. How do I respect that? He just said some dumb shit like that. If I'm against something, that means I want no parts of it. Like something like, for me to say I wouldn't have took this fight. Every fighter that speaks against another fighter, but if they was in that position, they take that same opportunity. That's hypocritical. That's hatred. That's jealousy. I don't care how you want to slice it. And I was pulling for Roy Jones no matter who Roy Jones fought. I was pulling for Floyd no matter who Floyd fought. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not hearing this from somebody who walked around with middle fingers to these dudes. Now, in terms of fan, but I ain't nobody's fan, you know. But at the same time, I say fuck a fighter. I don't care, personally. If, like when Roy lost to Antonio Tarver, you know what I said? Got knocked the fuck out. What am I supposed to do? You know? And yeah, Roy Jones beat the first fight. We know what happened in fights 2 and 3. And we know that was the end of Roy Jones. Am I supposed to sit here and make excuses and make up lies and of why he lost? And listen, what happened happened. It's simple. And all of those guys, Mike Tyson included. Remember the story 50 Cent told about, man, that they was in some room and Mike closed the door. He like, I'm thinking like, I'm gonna have to fight this motherfucker. Like, and he said that Mike did all that just to tell him, yo, I can't stand that motherfucker. I hate that motherfucker. Talking about Floyd. Now, if I say he's a hater, how you going to say he's not when he said, I can't stand that motherfucker. I hate that motherfucker. I have to say nothing. But you can see the actions. Remember that time when he went up on that stage and he was giving, I think the WBC was giving out belts. I think Duran was up there. I forgot who else. There's a bunch of people. Floyd was up there. Remember Mike went up there and jumped at Floyd. Floyd didn't even budge. Floyd just started laughing. And then he ran and dapped Floyd up. And it's what I'm telling you. Here I am, the heavyweight champ of the world. And I done got losses. I'm not the money man. I'm not what I used to be. Here this little dude comes up. I mean, they said all this shit about Floyd. But you heard the last thing that Mike said about Floyd? You got to give Floyd Mayweather his credit because Floyd did what he did and he earned it. You can't take anything away from Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is the great champion. It's not what he was saying about Floyd before. I've heard Sugar Ray Leonard say things about Floyd and then turn around and say something completely different. These guys flip-flop with how they feel about things, and they say this one day, the next time they say something else. I don't know if Mike was on mushrooms or whatever the hell, but yeah, Mike, bottom line. Yeah. For you to say all that shit about Floyd, and here Floyd is still doing exhibitions and still making big money, and here you are, damn near 60, and can't get $1 million fight, and you they tell about you like to test Jake Paul's chin. Remember Roy was about to fight that bodybuilding dude that be making them silly ass videos? Who the fuck is this guy? You see my point? you're jumping in the ring. These are not exhibitions, which means it's going on your record. So win, lose, or draw, you still have a win or a loss against a non-fighter. Which means if you can't respect that Floyd Mayweather beat Connor McGregor for his 50th fight, that means nothing that you do against a non-boxer yourself should go on your record. That's hypocritical, man. That's like a fucking cokehead see somebody doing crack and come back with the police going, look at this motherfucker over here doing crack. You a drug addict too. You know, what are you doing? So this is hypocrisy at its finest. And because I don't show favoritism and because I don't have no, oh, that's my favorite. No, I'm my favorite fighter. My father was my favorite. I don't have emotional attachment to people like that. But I respect what they do. And like I said, Roy was my dude, man. He was that dude. But what I'm telling you, I'm breaking this down because people love repeating what other people say without doing the research, man. And I'm sick of seeing that shit. So I figure I'm going to give a different approach to this shit because I don't even want to make videos most of the time. Most of the time I'm really busy. And then the other time it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Start watching who's fighting who, what's going, nothing. Then I'm over here watching one championship fighting. I'm watching PF. I'm loving this shit. What does boxing have going on? Just a bunch of fights on, fights off. Fights on, fights off. Use a bitch ass nigga. Send a contract. Fights on, fights off. Yo, you don't want no smoke. Fights on, fights off. He said this about you. He talked about your mama. This one said this. He said that. Oh, shit, you gonna... Oh, yo, this guy, he's ducking. This one. And this is all I keep seeing and hearing with boxing. Rumor has it, such and such may be fighting such and such. Promoter such and such said this and that. And maybe everything is always an uncertainty. So, this all being said, in this video I saw Roy Jones is more recent. And this is not the first time, not the second time. This is about 8 or 9 times I done heard Roy Jones say the same thing. Because when the conversation comes up, it's like, I don't know if they plan this that to make sure you ask me that question, or is at some point you just start going, you know what, man, look, what happened. You know, I ain't got no problem with Floyd, man. He, you know, hey, he's 50-0, he did it his way and it worked. Roy's way didn't work. Now, and this is my point. You know, you know, we called it out when Oscar did it. When Oscar was saying, I think Floyd Mayweather is tainting his legacy because he's fighting, you know, like Conor McGregor's not even a fighter, he's not a boxer, you know, and the same goddamn conversation, the same interview. The interviewer said, well, it's rumored that Canelo Alvarez is maybe interested in fighting Conor McGregor. Oh, now if they want to make the fight, we can make the fight happen. Yes, we can make it. Wait, whoa. So wait, Floyd, who kicked Canelo's ass already, is tainting his legacy somehow by fighting Conor. Somehow Canelo's not, because that's when Canelo was a golden boy fighter. So we seen the contradiction. We saw the hypocrisy, right? Now, if Roy Jones had enough logic and common sense to say, when he corrected the comments, I remember a commentator, interviewer came to Roy Jones and told him that Max Kellerman recently said that he has Pacquiao ranked higher than Floyd, that he's better than Floyd. Roy Jones had the common sense to say, hi, that made no sense to me. How you gonna be better in the fight you can't beat? You know what I'm saying? That they fought, even if you thought that beforehand, when they fought, Floyd won. It don't make no sense to me. How you gonna say somebody better than somebody they can't beat? Agreed, Floyd. Agreed, Roy. But now, you don't have that same principle, that same understanding when it comes to you. Because in Roy Jones' heart, and Roy was a bad dude. Let me take that heart shit back. In Roy Jones' mind, our heart, it pumps blood. It doesn't think. See, that's what I'm saying about repeating stuff that people say. And it just becomes a part of your vocabulary. No. In his mind, he was going to be what Floyd became. And it didn't happen. And even at the height of his career, he was always criticized for not fighting better opposition. Now, it's one thing when people say the fights didn't happen, but he was in the same era as a Joe Calzaghe. He's a little bit older than Joe, I think like 3 or 4 years, something like that. But, same era. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubanks, Steve Collins. Those are 4 names that could have been on his resume in his prime. Think about it. Those are 4 names. But those fights didn't happen. There's some others too. But those fights didn't happen. Now, at the same time, right? Mikuszewski's another name. Okay, so that's 5. I think Roy beats all of them. But it didn't happen. That's why I said, if you sit here and compare who fought who, you realize it's not even close. Roy's level of competition versus Floyd's. You can talk all that shit and all that hate, you'll be like, damn, I feel stupid now. Because I'm sitting here talking, but Floyd beat all these 23 world champions all together. How many did Roy beat? Roy not even in the top 5 as far as champions beaten. Now, and listen, like I said, I think Roy beat all them dudes I just said. I think Roy beat, when Roy was in his prime, dude was, listen, from 160 to 175, Roy was a problem. I think it's more heavyweights he could have beat. But, let's be real. Doesn't matter. And I can't guarantee that. But what we do know and what we have in front of us is all we need to go by. And Roy Jones' resume doesn't add up. So all this shit about, Floyd, fight people when they're either too young or too old. Yeah, I know. All this mystical, magical shit y'all bring up in your head. And this is why even because we can pull their records up. We can pull up all their opponents and sit and look at and you'll go, damn, this is true. Damn, how many Hall of Famers did Roy Jones beat? Yeah, we know. We could name a bunch of Hall of Famers that Floyd didn't beat already. So this is what I'm saying, y'all. When you sit here and say things like, everybody used to fight everybody, and I go back and find a video where a man in 1969 is saying, the sport has become commercial. Guys don't want to fight this guy because he's too good. I might lose to him. This guy right here, you know what? I'm not going to make the money fighting this guy. And this guy right here is less of a threat. So I'll fight. What's different? The same shit applies now. And this was in 1969. So I do this to show you guys. Stop repeating what people say to you and do your research. Because see, this is why it's irresponsible of people to do this kind of shit. Because there's a lot of people that rely on content creators to bring you the news for whatever the genre is. And what happens is they come to you with bullshit. They say things like I just corrected myself for saying in his heart. It's like, no, in his mind. In my heart, no. In your mind. Like I said, your heart pumps blood. Stop saying in my heart of hearts or deep down in my heart. I don't know shit inside my heart. My brain is what thinks, not my heart. We need to start eliminating all the dumb shit. That's for real. To be technical and to be right, to be exact. Let's start eliminating the dumb shit. So anyway, yeah, man, like I said, it's like Roy Jones just can't avoid getting into a conversation when it comes up. Like he gets so into his feelings about how more respect, man. You're fighting a guy not in boxing. If it didn't know it, then I can't respect that. You don't have to. But what is. And at the end of the day, I know that if you could trade and do it all over again, you would. And he probably said, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Stop lying. Yeah, you would. Because at the end of the day, your first loss came on bullshit terms, but it happened. Now, notice how people call Terry Norris out for it, because Terry did do it more than once. He did it several times, But at the same time, Roy did it too. And that dude did the same exact thing that guys did against Terry. Sit later and pretended they were knocked out. Yeah, I don't condone that. Control yourself. It's boxing. It wasn't cool for Terry to do it. It wasn't cool for Roy or nobody else to do it. But, come on. Miss me with all that nonsense about why you can't respect a man being 50-0 for fighting a guy that's not a boxer. But yet you, before him, was trying to get in the ring with the guy that wasn't a boxer. And here's the difference, too. Floyd could still fight. Floyd was not going to fight anybody else and make no $300 million. Not even the rematch with Pacquiao. It didn't matter. There was nobody else Floyd could fight, and he was going to make that kind of money. Nobody. you were trying to fight Anderson Silva because you fell off and you were no good no more. You understand what I'm saying? So this was like, okay, this is my speed right here. That's what you did. In fact, let's look at your rematch with Bernard Hopkins. Let's look at, the last two big wins on Roy Jones' career was against Jeff Lacey and Felix Trinidad. Trinidad hadn't fought for years. Came out of retirement and fought you. See, this is what I'm saying. If we start digging up shit, it'll get real messy. And y'all will go, damn, you know what? I didn't know that. Or I forgot about that. Yeah. When was the last time Trinidad had fought before Roy fought him? And came all the way up to 175? Are you shitting me? Now, he took the fight, yeah. But you see the point what I'm saying. Floyd ain't never got his ass kicked. And that was your last two biggest wins. And I said when he fought Joe Calzaghe, I said, Roy gonna get fucked up. And in this fight, I said, unless Roy knock him out, Roy don't have that killer instinct to jump in there and just get rid of a motherfucker. Roy want to play, slap his feet, stick his tongue out, shake his head, all this shit, but he don't pull the trigger on people like he used to. It's like he just try to outbox you and that's it. And he don't even have the common sense to know now. Roy don't take punches like he used to. And Roy Jones is just in that position right now where he still got lightning fast hands, but Roy reflexes ain't the same. His footwork ain't the same, and it's like his boxing IQ, like it's just like the athleticism doesn't help him like it used to, and he can't find openings. What did he say when he was fighting Joe Calzaghe? This sound familiar? I can't get him. I'm trying. Reflexes wasn't there. He could not catch him like he used to. It wasn't the same. You understand what I'm saying? So Floyd, reason for fighting Anderson, Connor McGregor was a whole different reason from Roy wanting to fight Anderson Silva. Who's the guy that ends up fighting who? Jake Paul. So now, if this is something that materializes, like, why don't we just call George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, who else is still alive? Like, hey man, get ready. If you're in the 60 and up club, you on the list. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what this dude Jake Paul does. And Roy Jones is the type of person, there'll be a lot of people that's hoping Roy could pull this shit off. Roy Jones is finished, man. I saw Roy Jones shadow boxing a week ago. His legs is done. I saw an article of Mike Tyson saying he gives his stamp of approval for Roy Jones and Jake Paul. Like, he think it'd be a good fight, this, that, whatever. Then he gave his, his synopsis on what he think Roy has to do to avoid this and that and whatever, and what Jake has to do. And it's just like, yeah, we get you. But look at what's happening. This dude is walking around beating up on guys that's just no good no more. That's what he's doing. So what's going to happen if this fight does go down and Jake gets another $40 million for beating up on Roy Jones, for going in there running around with Mike Tyson, Anderson, so all these, the dude lost to Tommy Fury. Do you understand what I'm saying? And one of the things you got to understand is when you are speaking about what a fighter should be doing and talk about in your prime how you did this and what you did, one of the things I always tell y'all, man, like I remember one time somebody was saying how the Ray Robinson was the only fighter that didn't get criticism because he was perfect. I said, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And in fact, you could even go look at, go pull up the fights where Rocky Marciano was doing the commentary shit, and where Rocky Marciano, I don't understand why Ray's doing this and this. He should be using his head. He needs to go to the body, go up. He's moving too much. He's down. He's like, yeah. What the? And it's like, you see what I'm saying? You take these celebrities, these athletes, these whatever, you put them on pedestals like they're perfect, like they're infallible. No, it's not what it is. No, everybody faces criticism. Everybody. Some people are biased with their criticism, and then there's people who, hey, it's legit. Like if I say, what's my man's name? Mr. Rougarou. If I say he's one-dimensional, He doesn't know how to cut off a ring, and he's too easy to hit. Am I saying that just to say it, or do you not see it too? You understand what I mean? So when I take a guy like him, and then let's just say, for example, you say something like that's like when people say Floyd never fought Sean Porter or Keith Thurman. Motherfucker, look at all the people. Look, okay, so why Keith Thurman ain't fight Jerron Boots Ennis? Why he ain't fight Terrence Crawford? You know, it's all we can always look at somebody. Why didn't Pacquiao fight Vernon Forrest? Why didn't Pacquiao fight Zab Judah? Well, there's several people we can sit there and say, well, this guy never fought this guy. You know, why? And we don't know the reason when there was no discussion. For you to assume that it was this person's fault is stupid, because you don't know why the fight didn't happen. All we know is certain fights didn't happen. You know, so Floyd didn't fight the man. Then you go and fight somebody that beat that guy, or you fight somebody who's just, you know, on the same level as that guy. No matter who Floyd beat, it was always an excuse. It was always an excuse. Every single time there was an excuse as to why he won and how he won. And, you know, Roy Jones, like I said, his criticism was that he didn't have the competition that he needed. But the guys that was there, that the fights never happened. So why didn't Roy Jones fight against Chris Eubanks? Why didn't he fight Nigel Benn? Why didn't he fight Steve Collins? Why didn't he fight Nikoshevsky? You know, why didn't those fights happen? Now let Roy Jones tell it. He's going to have his side of the story. Now, if you ask Roy, you tell him the truth, what you think Roy's going to say? Well, I think so. No, he's going to tell you that this is what happened, or this is why, or whatever. Everybody's going to have, listen, at the end of the day, y'all, there's always somebody who accomplished something. Maybe the record never gets broken. Or maybe it does, right? Doesn't matter. But there's always going to be a new person come along, and people are going to hate on that person as well. Funny thing about a whole lot of people is a lot of these people come on social media and they laugh at everything. They think everything is a joke. They cheer for like complete morons. But like I said, the guys who really want to make fights happen, the women that really want to make fights happen, nah, let's boo them. Let's hate on them. It is what it is, you know. And like I said, man, you know, I always had great respect for what Roy did in that ring. And when people was shitting on Roy, trying to say, oh man, he just flashy, he this and that, his fake ass Sugar Ray Leonard, all the shit that people were saying about him. I don't care about all that silly name calling shit. I tell motherfuckers, like, man, what the fuck you know about boxing? You talking all this goofy shit, right? But the dudes that you like David Telesco, I remember when we watched that fight, and this dude like, man, he will not right the fuck. I can't stand that motherfucker, man. I hate that motherfucker. This and this and this and that. And Roy beat the fuck out of David Telesco. And David Telesco, you ain't saying that. You can't knock me out, Roy. All he did was run. All David Telesco did was got there and run. And he was just happy with being able to say, I didn't get knocked out. And I'm like, you like David Telesco as a fighter, right? I'm not telling you have to like Roy. Fuck Roy. I don't care whether you like him or not. And when I'm saying, I'm like, for real shit. It's not like he lose. I personally can't. Any of them. AJ, Floyd, any of them. They lose, they just lose. I don't, man, it's fucked up. No. I'm not betting no big money on you. Nah. Fuck. Shit, man. If anything, I'd be mad at my investment, not the fucking fact that you lost personally. Like it, and it's like it's not a personal thing to say, yo, yeah, I like him as a fighter. Yeah, so yeah, I want to see you win. But if you lose, you just lose. I don't lose no sleep over that shit, man. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, and I'm like, this dude is cheering for Dallas. Man, I saw him. I said, you just like, you that type of motherfucker that you might as well just say, who's the worst football team in the NFL? Okay, that's the team I like. Who's the worst baseball team? Or who's the worst? And he starts laughing. Nah, man, David, let's go good. I said, hey, listen. At the end of the day, out of everything you just said about Roy dominated. David Telesco didn't win one round. Not one. And you talk about this dude a good fighter, but you saying Roy ain't shit. Like, how stupid do you sound? This is the type of shit I'm saying that comes out of people's mouths. No, I'm saying Roy can fight. But hey, I don't care how you feel about him. I'm saying your argument sounds stupid. Yeah, way back then, I'm telling this motherfucker that shit. Your argument sounds stupid, man. How the fuck is he a bum, but the dude that he's beating on is not a bum? And you like this motherfucking bum. Because if Roy's a bum, what does that make him? So, you know, this is what I'm saying. So, nah, I have no reason to hate on nobody. Nobody. But you know what? The truth is the truth. And a lot of times the truth is never discovered by many people. People love believing lies because it makes them feel better that, somebody's agreeing with them about an idea or thought that they have, but an opinion or whatever, but it's okay. It's okay. Just know, if something doesn't bother you, you don't waste time repeating the same thing every time somebody interview you and ask you about this man. And there's a jealousy there. There's some misfeelings there. Because like I said, Mayweather became what Roy wanted to become. It's as simple as that. People can talk all the shit they want, and as much as I respect Roy, I respect Floyd as much, even more, because in those ropes, you gotta understand something. In those ropes, right? When you watch these people display their craft, and I'm watching what they're doing, and I'm looking at who's doing what. I'm looking at the confidence level. Who's remember how Roy Jones used to go? When I played a game of basketball, I forgot who he fought. He went and played the whole game of basketball that day. I remember he came out with Method Man and Red Man. I mean, come up through the floor. You did all this Apollo Creed shit, all this entertaining. Great. And none of that shit still got him to where Floyd got. You understand what I'm saying? So all the showmanship and all, beautiful. But Floyd did it in the ring without all of that shit. Without that shit. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not knocking Roy for his style of it, but Roy was known to be a big puncher, right? People said Floyd couldn't punch. So why was Roy not knocking people out? Why was Roy in there? See, that's what Roy Jones did. I want to hit you, let you know I can punch, get your respect, and then just entertain these people. Like I said, slapping his shoes, dancing, looking away from the crowd. All that kind of shit he was doing. Great. Him and Floyd did what they did their way. But at the end of the day, everybody talking that shit, I guarantee you, if I ask you or anybody say, whose career would you rather have had? You'd be a stupid motherfucker to say Roy Jones Jr. Because if you had his career, that means every decision he made, whatever he did in the ring, every fight he won or lost, that's what happened to you, right? And who the fuck still is filthy rich and can feed the families, generations? Who's in a better position? Do you understand what I'm saying? Who has their mind again? You can't possibly be that stupid to think that all this shit that people talk like the money don't matter. Like, you can't never accuse Floyd of not caring about his fucking legacy. You can talk all the dumb shit you want, but when you look at what you're doing and look at how much money you make or don't make, and you're saying somebody's stupid because that motherfucker made up in his mind and understood what he was getting ready to do and what he needed to do and what he's still doing. But every time a story comes out with somebody saying Floyd is broke, Floyd this, Floyd that, and everybody eat that dumb shit up, and then all of a sudden the following week he done bought another mansion or sold a mansion or bought another car, and it's always the same things, man. So Roy's not gonna come out and admit he's jealous of Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson did in a way. He did in a way, and then when 50 Cent told his story and stuff, you could see it. It's just certain people make excuses for. But it's all good, man. It's all good. And it just makes Roy look that much better if for people like myself that understand what came out of his mouth and the things that he was trying to do, watching his career and see how things unfolded for him. And now all of a sudden, here he is at 56 and can't even walk because he got terrible knees, and he's talking about now he would like to test Jake Paul's chin. What happens when Jake Paul tests your chin, though? So unless you're going to go in there and you're, hey, listen, man, it's not going to be a real fight. Let's just make it look real. I'll just get on my toes and move and, this, that, and, you know what I'm saying, and help you get some money, man. This is my way of paying back the leg. He can tell y'all anything. A dive is a dive. Simple. And if y'all going to have an actual real fight, the fact that Roy Jones can't even fucking walk, man. He can't dance around that ring like he used to. There's no way in fuck that he should beat Jake Paul. No way. There's no way Mike Tyson should beat Jake Paul because they're physically ill. Yet, 47-year-old Floyd Mayweather still doing fucking exhibitions and looking sharp. So, just saying, y'all. Stop acting like you don't see what you see. It's okay to be honest. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.